interesting on how you manage your magic versus how much you want to go for some bombs and whatnot. So that's always interesting. And I believe we are going to be off here.
Of course, we have updated our privacy policy in Hyrule to reflect the terms of the GDPR. And Khloe getting a little bit of a head start, Kappa. But no, we'll get that adjusted for you guys in just a second. And picking up 3 bombs from the chest there in Link's house, which is a really, really nice thing to see.
Well, like I said, so if they get some awkward, weapon here at the start, they are not going to have to worry about bombs until they get to Kakariko and might have to buy some more. And that's got to be a sigh of relief for the runners wherever you're that early. I would say like that or getting in an uncle's chest is always a really nice sight to see.
That's for sure. So as we head into the uncle area here, we're going to see what that item is going to be. Actually, you could have already known whether it was going to be the sword or not, and it's not because the uncle wasn't carrying a sword. Instead, it is the fire rod today. So we get to incinerate some enemies as we go through the escape here. Oh!
That's going to be, that's a bit of an issue. Okay, interesting. So
both of them having that same mistake there.
Yeah, they weren't expecting the bombs early, because normally, so you'd have like a piece of heart or a heart container or some money or something that early. That's like the most common drop to get at the start. And I think they were just like, I have my first item, let's just use it. And they both waste a bomb, which is kind of big because normally you want 1 bomb for the back of escape, and then you want 1 bomb for the well and the back of Blind's hut. So now they're going to be 1 bomb short. They're going to need some other bomb drop here in order to make up for that lost bomb.
Yeah, that's for sure. 3 bombs in total to do all the stuff in Kakariko that requires bombs. But as you mentioned, you do those 2 locations of the north, and then you can stop off and buy more bombs on the way to the south. But now they're basically synced going in here, so this is pretty cool. Khloe did take a bunch of damage there, and is rocking 1/2 of a heart right now. Now there is a heart under this pot, and presumably Khloe knows about it, and he does, so he does pick up that refill. Phant's still on full hearts, but I certainly would not want to see a death in the escape affect this race just now. You want to see both runners get safely into the part where their routing decisions will factor in more.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because they don't have we don't know if they're going to get mirror or not, so there's no time to possibly make it a bit faster. So dying here is really, really awful. But so far, no deaths. They're able to get through these rooms pretty easily because they got fire rod, one-shots every single guard in the escape. And we'll see if they decide to kill the green guard, especially since they already have bombs. That's kind of a metagame divergence we've seen, as some people are like, they want to use up all their magic possible in the early game. And it looks like both of them are going to actually try for an extra drop. Neither of them get it, though. So no harm, no foul. But that has been an interesting thing as this is developed. And we get a Moon Pearl in Zelda's chest. So that is very interesting to get early.
Yeah, that's a really nice item to have there. Khloe actually was also rocking 1 heart coming in there, so he probably had extra incentive to take that guard out of the way. But that Moon Pearl, now you already start to think about Dark World access. Now we do have a cape, and the cape does kind of hint at Aghanim, but there's some time left to find other things possibly. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, until we find a sword that really doesn't even, and a lantern that doesn't really put Aghanim into logic, so we don't have to really talk about it. Now, if we get one of those 2 things and we're only 1 away, it's kind of the same thing with Dark World. It's like, well, now it's starting to creep into your mind. However, though, with Fire Rod, it makes Aghanim's tower a lot more trivial than pretty much anything else you could have in your inventory.
Yeah, that's for sure. Of course, the one annoyance of the Fire Rod is that fire takes just a little bit of time to burn the enemy to death, but of course it does get out of your way very effectively, so you kind of don't want to complain, but at the same time, you kind of want to complain.
Yeah, man, I have to say, these guards have been out for Khloe. I mean, literally at every turn, just getting really awful RNG with some of their movements and whatnot. Yep. But thankfully, it still is at a heart and a half. So going into here is fairly safe. And there's an extra heart coming up under another pot here in this first room.
Yeah, you do want to be careful with those snakes coming up. They're a little bit dicey. They do about half a heart each, if I recall correctly. And the rats are a little bit less dangerous, but still, that damage can easily add up. And you really, again, really don't want to take a death here. It'll send you back to the mantle at the entrance of the sewers here. Phant getting a little bit softened up by those snakes, and you do see, oh, Khloe now back down to a heart. Man, this is a tense escape for both runners.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Khloe, cannot take another hit right now because I understand. Oh, that's a really oh my God, that's a really necessary hard container. Good God, Khloe. All right, well that was timely, and so now we're past the snakes, so that should help. Most of these things only do a quarter damage, so that's a little bit easier to deal with. But holy moly, that was a bit of a butt clench.
Yeah, Khloe is really showing us that health is truly a resource, and he's making full use of his resources here. Now, both runners having picked up their small key from this maze. Khloe's still rocking the 1 heart, although I think the next hit from a rat will knock him down to a half. But now they'll both be able to pick up these 3 chests. And here we go. It is a heart container. It is a heart piece. And there's another heart container. Khloe will be very happy with this.
Yeah, no, and honestly, the fact that, you know, going through the early game, if they have to, like, dip, you know, Eastern or whatnot, having extra hearts is never a bad thing until they get that blue mail. You know, if they ever do get that blue mail. So getting those 2 heart containers in the back of Escape is a sigh of relief.
Yeah, especially if you end up getting bow but not lamp. You start thinking like, I kind of do just want to finish Eastern, but that dark room is really, really upsetting if you only have a small amount of health. So fortunately, they won't have to worry too much about that.
I was about to say, I think that was the map, and so both of them actually just going to confirm that to themselves. Sometimes it's hard to keep count, especially when you're trying to juggle a bunch of things like magic and how many bombs and whatnot over the course of it. But yeah, so we'll see. Another metagame thing that we've seen develop over this tournament, especially between the top runners, is whether they go check Lumberjack Cave or not. It looks like Phant is heading up that direction and Khloe's doing the same thing. But some of the top runners have been opting to wait to, you know, look for that later. But we got bombs off of the tier 2 tree pole.
That is a really, really nice way to start off your trip to Kakariko and make sure that you are totally set on bombs. That the early mistake that both of them made, accidentally flubbing a bomb drop there, not a big deal. Unfortunately, what is kind of a big deal, half magic is on that Lumberjack ledge there. Ooh. And unless Aghanim is required for Dark World entry, I'm not really seeing either runner going 6 minutes out of their way to get that.
No, I don't think that's a very worthwhile investment. But I mean, if you kill Aghanim and get boots at a reasonable time, I think you do go for it. Honestly, it's not too far out of your way. And we've got a bottle out in the vanilla mushroom spot, so that's getting even better. You can get Kakariko Village done with all in 1 through. I think the only thing left would be the magic bat.
Yeah, you get that. You really want to see that God Kakariko, where you get like the flute, you get the bottle, 2 bottles now. You get the hammer, and you get the magic powder. You can just clear the entirety of Kakariko. Oh, and throw in boots too. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
But that never happens. Never ever.
Yeah, but getting that blue pot early is really, really nice, just for some added safety. But also another underrated added safety is getting that bee. You can actually use it on Mothula. It's not a golden bee, so it won't last as long, but you can still get some hits in on there if you you know, are in like fighter sword and don't have half magic and whatnot, obviously, for this seed.
Now the question is, when they go to the sick kid, which bottle do you think they're going to give him? Are they going to give him the potion that might actually heal him, or are they going to give him the bee?
I mean, they might give him the bee for some reverse allergic reaction thing. I don't know. Like, that's actually a good question.
Therapy?
Yeah, exactly. But we didn't get too much except for the swag net and some extra money to allow us to get to bottle vendor money a lot easier, and the single rupee in the back.
We're doing pretty okay on money so far. 121 rupees for Phant and 22 for Khloe, so that's a good count. They both don't currently have to worry about buying bombs. They'll get another, I want to say 20 rupees from the well, right? So that'll put them into range of buying bombs if they want, but hopefully with 4 they won't need to worry about that. Maybe they'll even get some pickups along the way. Now we're going to see this well here, and as Phant throws a bomb to the back, it's another piece of heart. We're seeing a lot of hearts already.
Yeah, no, this has been a fairly healthy seed so far. And there's that blue mail for some extra safety. So on top of the potion, the blue mail now is going to help, especially if you ever want to route in Ice Rod Cave. And man, the only 100 drop in the game right there. So easily. So with that, I've got a feeling that one of the 2 of them is probably going to go down and get extra bombs. You might as well fill yourself back up. Oh, and not a bad return for investment, slight scam, but we're going to get a sold bee?
He was trying, but it's not the kind of bee that he's
bee.
actually going to buy.
Yeah, it's not
so.
the gold bee.
It's a good try, though. I like the demonstration of knowledge, at least. Like, he knows that that's a thing that exists, which is not something that every runner can say.
Yeah. Well, I think it's safe to say if Phant needs that bee later for Skullwoods, he'll be stung by that choice.
Anyway, so Khloe's going to go pick up some bombs, and I'm just going to disregard that entire little exchange. And Phant's actually doing the same. So, I mean, this is pretty reasonable. They had 2 bombs. Good choice to, you know, just make sure they're totally safe on that bomb count before they head off to Mini Moldorm Cave. And we'll be seeing what's on this sick kid from Khloe. It is a 10 arrow booster.
Yeah, not too good right now because we don't have the bow. Would have been useful if we did, if that was a starting item. You want those capacity upgrades for when you go into Eastern. Oh, well, that would have been enough for the rest of the South Shore, but unfortunately they already bought bombs.
Yeah, I think honestly, with that many rupees, you just do that, and it's not that huge of a loss to have gotten the extra bombs. But we're both just following the same path down to Southern Kakariko. That bookshelf on the library having a heart container. So again, continuing the trend of healthiness, but of course we don't have boots to collect that yet, and probably won't be coming back when we do. And the maze game having 20 rupees. So Khloe's now going to save and quit, and very shortly Phant will do the same. And I would expect they're going to follow that same standard route of going to South Hyrule now.
I think that was probably the most disappointing Kakariko I have ever seen in a seed. I was literally only blue mail. They got, and I mean, Swagnet too for berries for later. I guess that's nice, but there's literally nothing for this early game there.
Well, I'll tell you what, actually, Khloe might not feel too bad about that, about having that net. Given the issues in the escape, that I'm not even necessarily trying to say that Khloe is like, you know, in need of safeties as a player, but rather that when you have that kind of start, it gets in your head a little bit and you start thinking like, oh man, by the way, what was that?
Was that a candy cane?
It probably doesn't taste as good as a candy cane.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was the cane of Samaria, so doesn't give us anything now, but is very useful to have early. Makes a lot of rooms easier as you go through, specifically the Dark World dungeons. So you know, it'll be good for later, and depending on whether Mire or Turtle Rock is required, that'll be good. Khloe actually opting to pick up that big 20 just to get closer to Zora money. Not a bad choice at this point.
Yeah, Phant doing the same. They have basically the same thoughts about everything so far. Phant just falling behind just a little bit, probably because he went out of his way to do the tree pull, and also he was messing around with the bee. But not a huge deal. Khloe actually is going to make use of that bee here. He's going to use it to take out the mini Moldorms. Oh, and some cane strats. I love this. This is great. And getting a bomb pickup here too. And the bee is finally going to dispatch the last mini Moldorm. That was beautiful.
Very nice. And actually going to save some time over Phant right here because of that. And not too much in Generous Sky Cave. And oh, but there is a hook shot, right?
That's an item.
Yeah, that item. That is indeed a progression item. So they don't have the gloves to sequence break up to Death Mountain, but if they do get that before the hammer, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of these runners sequence break up there.
Yeah, absolutely. You basically, almost as soon as you can get to DM, you know you're going to get access to it. You might as well just head up there. Some sequence breaks you might think like, well, it's possible that this thing I'm sequence breaking into just never even comes into play. When it comes to Death Mountain, how many seeds actually don't go to Death Mountain for progression? Not very many.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much need to have Turtle Rock and no hook shot until go mode. That's pretty much the only reason to like not go there.
All right, so both runners again still following the same path. They're going to go check out Ice Rod Cave. I think this is pretty consistent with what they were telling us, that they don't really want... Oh, that's a glove there, so that's a really nice find.
Yeah, and interesting thing, looks like Khloe's going to go back and set up a fake flipper. I mean, only 20 rupees away. Definitely could find something or even farm. Maybe we'll see what the stun prize is, and maybe that's a 20 rupee drop. Let's see if Phant does the same thing. No, Phant is going to save and quit, and now we'll see if he opts to go over to maybe the Eastern Palace area, just go to Sasha's hut. With that start, is probably going to do that.
Yeah, that looks like it. You know, you want to make sure before you're going to Death Mountain, for example, what if the hammer is just here in Eastern? You know, just get that out of the way. That would also give you Dark World access. You're only one item away. Death Mountain is a pretty hefty time investment, and if hair is a crystal, you would want to do it if you're up there. So just a lot of reasons why it's definitely good to get this out of the way before you go there. Meanwhile, we did see an island check from Khloe.
Oh God, Khloe,
we're seeing a number of things from
okay.
Khloe.
My God, that was some Wukong jukes right there.
But we saw that Lake Hylia island check. That's just a red rupee, so not a huge deal. Did not opt to go to the hobo, just went straight for the waterfall cave, and will do the water walk glitch here to pick up the items. Phant finding the Titan's mitt and the hammer.
We got the double right there for Dark World access.
And he just immediately nopes out. He doesn't even know if Eastern's a pendant or a crystal. He doesn't need any of that crap. He's just going to go straight to the Dark World via Hype Cave as Khloe finishes up fake flippers checks here.
Yeah, so this actually opens up a lot of things right now. And, you know, if they want a sequence break up there, we got a map check first. We got crystals at Eastern and Desert with Blue Pendant and Tower of Hera. But I would say, honestly, that opens up Dark DM as well, and you can check what the Turtle Rock medallion is and get that map check out of the way as obviously as soon as you get into the Dark World. So man, a lot of stuff actually has opened up with us with getting that Times in addition to the hammer.
Yeah, that's super huge and really nice for Phant. Meanwhile, we're getting the Dark World check, and it looked like the pendants were at Mire and Swamp, with the green pendant being at Swamp. And I did miss where the 5/6 crystals were, but I'm sure Dragon Master's on top of it, and we'll get that momentarily.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll probably get it from Khloe's side here, as looks like they're going to be going over to the area. We've got a Hype Cave check. We got a shield inside of there. We got 5 rupees, a 5 air capacity upgrade, red mail, and 50 rupees. So I'd say that was like a 4? 4.5.
I mean, the red mail is really nice, so I'm not going to complain. Neither will Phant or Khloe. Khloe is now immediately falling into Sahasrara, so he's going to pick up the mitt. He's going to pick up the hammer. I'm sure he'll be falling into the Dark World pretty shortly. Phant, he's going to go to the west from here, so he's going to traipse over into the Haunted Grove. He doesn't have the mirror to check Cave 45 or the South of Grove Cave, but he will be able to path his way into the Village of Outcasts. So he's got a lot of options, and so does Khloe, and it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do now.
Yeah. Okay, so Khloe's going to the Sanctuary now. So this is an interesting decision. I don't know if this is going to prompt a Village of Outcasts check or a up to Death Mountain, but we'll see here in a brief second.
Definitely has the aroma of Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's Death Mountain. So obviously knowing that you can get to those dark DM spots, and you can actually open up a turtle. Well, you can open up the portal to Turtle Rock if you wanted to go that way in as well.
Yeah, we still don't have a sword, nor do we have of course any medallions, but we can see what's available on Death Mountain and how that goes. Phant doing some digging here. Meanwhile, looks like a fair number of digs being required for this item. Well, there it is. It's a red shield. Yay.
Yeah, getting some shields early in the Dark World, but no swords yet. So that really, one interesting thing I've noticed from runners is when they decide to go into Thieves Town without having a sword, because Hammer Blind is really annoying and can cause a lot of problems. And it looks like Phant, might be opting not to go into Thieves Town quite yet. It's going to check Village of Outcasts at the very least, and probably do a save and quit for the after the hammer pegs.
Yeah, at least for now, with that blacksmith in tow, he's not going into any dungeons. So this is an overworld play. He's saying, I feel like the overworld's going to have the things for right now. That said, for Khloe, just a moment ago, the old man not having any things, he just had 3 bombs, which, I mean, I guess it's nice to make sure you got your bomb count high. Phant gonna work out his hammer pegs here, so we'll come back in like 40 seconds after he's done hammering all the pegs. And Khloe checking the inside of Spectacle Rock, just having 300 more rupees.
Yeah, probably won't go back in for that, because already got Zora out of the way and doesn't really need to farm too much extra money. It's about 200 for the rest of everything you'd have to do. And this is gonna be an early Spike Cave check. I actually like this because there's a sword and hammer pegs. So gonna save and quit, and then I guess come back to the rest of Village of Outcasts. I actually like that works out really well for Phant.
Yeah, it really does. And Khloe's play, meanwhile, here will very potentially work out really well for him. if he's able to survive. It's a little bit close, but I think he's okay. Yeah, totally fine. And he picks up the bow in Spike Cave. That is incredible. That's a really solid read by Khloe, knowing that he had early access to the hammer, just enough hearts, and early access to the cape. Going in there and getting the bow super early. Wow.
That is so good. And so we don't have a lantern yet. So Pod and Eastern are not technically completable, but in this case, they're definitely open if Khloe knows the dark rooms at all. Without a sword, it's a little bit worse to do. I mean, you could use hammer or hookshot to help you a little bit with it, but you know, obviously just continue up right here with the rest of East Death Mountain. And let's see if they are not going to go to Spiral Cave first. So it's probably just going to route up around, do Spiral Cave last in the light world, and then go back down outside and do Super Bunny chest first.
Yeah, and with the hammer in tow now, of course, Hera is going to be accessible, but it's a pendant. So we'll see if Khloe decides to include that in the set of stuff to do on DM, or if he just instead opts to go directly into the Dark World for that half. Meanwhile, Phant is going to take the portal near Village of Outcasts, and we'll see if he is using this to... I looked away.
Khloe just accidentally got hit twice by the... Oh, we got an ice rod apparently in Paradox Cave, but Khloe was using a bomb and got hit twice by Moldarums, and they all died to that bomb.
Oh, perfect.
That was 6 strats, totally calculated.
Definitely intentional.
But getting that ice rod, I hate to say it, but Turtle Rock, when we get a medallion, is actually completable at this point.
Well, Khloe's going to need that sword from the hammer pegs, and he is going to need whatever that medallion is. Yeah. So we will see when that happens. Phant taking this dip into Thieves Town, meanwhile, has already done some of the Village of Outcasts checks, and there's the boots. So, you know, that's a really nice find to just find in the first chest of Thieves Town. It's going to make this dungeon a lot faster to navigate. Yeah, I mean, with the hookshot, it already makes it a lot easier, but hookshot and boots just makes it exponentially more trivial. Yeah, and combined with the sword, too, it'll just make it a lot easier to plow through those Zazzaks and make sure that you don't take damage when you don't need to. Khloe, meanwhile, not having the boots and having to do this Spiral Cave play, which is just miserable. Everyone hates this, but any moment now we're going to see what vital item is located at the end of Spiral Cave. I'm so excited. It is a red rupee. Unfortunately, not as hype as we wanted. But it'll be, but what is hype is we get 6 more checks in Dark DM, as Phant has gotten all of the 4 first chests, and is going to be heading back to the back of Thieves. Honestly, with this loadout, shouldn't be too bad to go through there, and we'll have to see if any more progression is here in Thieves. I mean, it's been actually really interesting because it's been very split on where the progression has been so far. Which is always nice to see. It makes it more exciting that way. Yeah, that's for sure. Both runners have achieved some pretty significant progression that the other person hasn't. The biggest one definitely seems to be Khloe's bow. Like, it's very hard to say that Phant is definitely just going to go get that soon. Whereas for Khloe, you got to imagine that Hammer Pegs and the Village of Outcasts overworld will be in the near-ish future. And Thieves Town, of course, being a crystal, you have to basically full clear it anyway, so you might as well do it sooner rather than later. Yeah, and most people would like to do Thieves Town before, you know, Skull Woods or something like that, just to see if you get, like, you know, some other utility. I mean, they already have 3 bottles, so they got a ton of utility, so they might opt to do it first. But, yeah, we're going to get a medallion check right here, and that was Ether on Turtle Rock, so we're going to be looking for Ether. Phant just picked up the Master Sword from Thieves Town, so Village of Outcasts just has all the weaponry right now. It had both of the first 2 swords. Khloe found a book in Hookshot Cave as well. What else is in here? Just a big 20 and a shield. Oh, hey, there's all the shields. Yeah, Phant will have a Mirror Shield when he gets up here, and the last chest is just the bomb. Right, so there you go. Okay, so Khloe's going to save and quit out of here right now. So I would say, okay, Sanctuary means probably going to go to Village of Oh, maybe not. Realizing got the book is going to go a different route. We'll see. He's going to Link's house and busting out the hammer. So it looks like he's entering for... had he gone to Hype Cave yet? No, right?
No,
yeah,
oh my god, and that is a flute in the maiden's chest. Thieves Town is absolutely loaded. Phant, you have no key, sir.
Okay, that was a great moment.
Yes, it was. The little turnaround of wait, hold on. I thought I had a key somewhere.
Oh gosh, that's a huge find, dude. Phant is okay. So the bow was absolutely massive, and still potentially a huge landmine for Phant. But right now, just having all these things at this moment may very well help him get enough of a routing advantage here.
Vula, I want to let you know that at 25 minutes, I believe, I could be wrong about this, we're only 2 items away from go mode.
Are you...
Of no mode, actually. Sorry, not go mode, no mode.
Well, okay, so we know Ether Medallion's required for Turtle Rock, and Misery Mire's a pendant.
And we need flippers.
And we need flippers.
Although, technically, you could fake flipper to ice, so you only need Ether.
Right, the runners could get by without flippers, and we know that Khloe knows fake flippers. And you and I personally, although we haven't seen it in the race, you and I know the Phant knows how to do fake flippers. So you're right, this is ridiculous. What is this scene?
Now the question is that Ether can be literally anywhere right now, except for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, not just that, but the lamp is also at play, and I'm not sure what both runners' level of confidence is with dark rooms. I know that Phant knows the dark rooms. I'm not sure how he'll feel about doing them in the race context today, and I don't know how Khloe is on them. So, you know, that will be an interesting question as it comes down to, like, where is the lamp? And since the fleet's in Village of Outcasts wasn't blocked by Death Mountain, they have logical Death Mountain access now, too.
Yep, now that brings the Death Mountain access back into logic. So, oh man, well, I want to say the seed could be really fast, but I also want to say you guys should buckle in because it might be a while before we find either the lamp or the Ether.
Well, it looks like Phant is going to try to just be as efficient as possible about getting crystals out of the way. So he is going directly to Skull Woods, and he is going to probably be able to complete that dungeon. He's got a Master Sword, 9 hearts, red mail. That's going to make it really nice. Khloe, also having picked up the red mail now from Hype Cave, is rocking only 2 hearts, heading into Palace of Darkness, which is also a pretty good place, especially with that bow in tow. Does not have the lamp, but this tells me he probably feels fairly confident on his dark rooms.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. You know, some people actually, you know, bring up the pod dark maze just so they have that as a reference as they're going through, so that they don't get lost.
Are you kidding me with these swords, though? Phant just picked up the Tempered Sword and Skull.
So, on one hand, we've got Tempered Sword between all of the whole, like, Village of Outcast area of DM, and we've got Swordless Pod on Khloe's side. I mean, not that it's particularly going to matter for this dungeon, but still pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's just weird how this seed has worked out for the two of them, with Khloe just deciding not to do that Village of Outcast play immediately, and instead go to Pod. I mean, I don't even think this is a bad play or a wrong play at all, or even an unjustified play. It just, it's the only part of this that's super working out for Khloe was getting that bow early, but man, it's gonna be really annoying not having the boots or the flute or the 3 swords.
Yeah, and Khloe was actually trying to death warp, but kept getting hit with because having the fire shield blocks all the fireballs. So just stopped like, screw it, let's just go back the regular way. And it was actually Pod is not bow locked actually at the start, so that will be actually good for Phant in case wants to dip in here for any more progression. Might be able to actually find that Ether Medallion.
Yeah, and there's another key on the bridge as well, so he would even be able to go further into the dungeon, go into the back area. Whether or not he did opt to skip this big key chest, I guess, would be the question. But meanwhile, Phant going all the way directly to Mothula, having finished that first half. And Khloe is going to check this big key chest location. He's confident in the knowledge that he can do the bow side and get all the keys anyway. What are we going to find here? Is this going to be potentially an issue for Phant? Nah, it's just a key.
Nope, just a key. But, you know, one thing I actually have been noticing as I've been playing deeper and deeper in this logic, it can sometimes give you 5 keys. And I found it more prevalent recently with the seeds I've practiced in. So, and that can really throw you off, and you'll leave something in Harmless Hellway. Right. Because you're like, wait a second, it's normal that you only get like 4 keys at the front.
All right, so here's a Mothula fight for Phant, and he started off pretty well with that spin attack, and now Mothula's being kind of an idiot, but he manages to draw him out of the corner. Should just be another slash or two, or he could just go
my.
in the farthest possible corner. There it
Went
is,
off
though.
the screen right there.
Yeah, that was pretty awful. But fortunately for Phant, not taking too much longer. It is not an item from him, though. So he will possibly have to continue looking. I didn't see if he found a second item after that.
I didn't either, but we'll know for a fact if he goes back in for the chest that no one wants to get without mirror. I mean, I think that's the official name for it.
Well, at least if you have Kane, it's not as bad to do that either. I've definitely seen runners get burned by skipping that chest when they have neither Kane nor mirror, and they're just like, well, what's the likelihood that it has something? And then it has mirror, and then you're very sad.
Yep, very much so. But he left it, so it's obvious that there is nothing there. Oh gosh, Khloe.
Everything is totally fine. Hey, there's a heart. See, totally fine.
I mean, really, in this whole seed, Khloe's been like between beeping alarm and like almost near beeping.
Well, you know, the funny thing is Khloe has survived every single time.
Exactly.
But man, when you are on that low health all the time, it definitely, like, it plays into your mindset, and it also makes you, like, think twice about doing certain things. You can't just, for example, you couldn't just damage boost through those beetles. You had to actually kill them off. So, you know, that could be a thing that plays into Khloe's play going forward. But in the meantime, we have the dark basement here. Let's see if we can attentively catch what items Khloe finds. Oh, well, that one's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, heart container down there.
Compass.
Okay, so that means, I believe that means Hellway has an item, because I think Khloe found 5 in the front.
We do see Khloe going to the Hellway here. Phant picking up not much from King's Tomb, nothing vital. And a mushroom in the Hellway. Oh, baby. You ready for a fetch quest?
I'm down for fetch quests.
All right, man. Well, we're going to see.
I like the overworld. It's cool.
It's very pretty. I mean, just look on Phant's screen. Look how pretty it is.
Exactly.
I'm judging by this ordering that Phant is doing things that he's going to go activate that flute and probably beeline directly to Death Mountain. Bonk Rocks, meanwhile, just having a big 20.
So, the boots have not opened up anything yet. The only thing that they could possibly open up within right now is, oh, and Khloe's going to take a death in the dark maze of Pod. Yeah, not having a sword in that room and relying on hookshot is very unfortunate. And it's just going to bail out of it for right now. You know, honestly, can't blame it. And hopefully we'll go to Village. It looks like Village of Outcasts might be the next place. So Khloe at this point is, they might be flip-flopping right now on where they're going to be retracing each other's steps.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Phant, of course, having access to those boots and the flute now, it might be slightly faster to travel around the world. And, you know, one thing about Phant is at times he does play a little bit, you know, kind of gambly. He'll gamble on things, but other times he plays fairly comprehensively. He'll check everything that there is to check. And so you got to think, as he's going up here, it is decently possible that he checks Spike Cave, but it is also decently likely that he just does not. And that's going to be a potentially huge deciding factor here.
Yeah, I mean, when you have everything else open on Death Mountain, and you're going to get the progression that we, you know, obviously just saw from Khloe's side in the book, in the Ice Rod, it could be possible that Phant could go in a completely opposite direction and not ever go to Spike Cave. I've seen it happen a bunch of times.
You know what, with that book, he's, well, he won't be able to do it on his first trip because of not having mirror, but he will have access to Ether Tablet. We'll see whether he decides that he wants to go all the way back around to check that. And he will not have access to Bombo's Tablet, but he could later on. He will also have access to Desert Palace, which is another crystal, and will be completable because he has those boots as well, even if it's boots locked.
Yeah, so Khloe is actually going to Skullwoods first, so is indeed going to get a sword. And that's going to help, you know, obviously complete the dungeon. Not going to be as easy as Tempered Sword, Mothula. So we'll see if Khloe opts to go for that as well with the current loadout.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
And
where...
Phant did not go to...
No, he's just saving quitting back down from Spectacle Rock for speed reasons. I actually don't know if this is faster, to be honest. But yeah, he's gonna continue on. But yeah, like that. Yeah, actually, you see, Chloe's Chloe's booking it out of Skull.
Okay.
Just does not want to try Mothula at 10 hearts, red mail, but only fighter sword. Just pretty reasonable thing to do.
I mean, definitely, because the spikes in that Mothula boss room don't care what mail you have. They do 1 damage every single time. So especially when you don't have half magic and you're on this, I would say it's totally fine to try and find an extra sword upgrade. You know, Thief Town is a lot easier on fighter sword in general. So definitely can't blame Chloe for doing this.
Yeah, Chloe also out of magic is pointed out by Freddie in chat. Thanks for that.
Yep.
Phant picking up his bottle here from Paradox Cave is going to get the other goodies that were in here, including that ice rod. Now, he does have a sword to be able to use medallions, but again, nobody has medallion. Where are the medallions?
Yeah, actually, interesting thing, Phant opted not to go to the Mire Shed area before heading up here. I mean, just to kind of get that out of the way and see if, you know, possibly Mire would be a required dip at some point. But yeah, so it was an interesting route. I mean, obviously this is the density play to go up here first, and you know, it just be, honestly, if you go for the density play, if you go for the weirder plays, that's where a divergence could possibly be.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing, of course, is not having mirror makes that Mire play more annoying, because it just means you jump into the Dark World and then you gotta save and quit. You're stuck. So, Phant choosing not to do that yet. I wager that we're going to see that before too long. We will also see whether he chooses to do the Hera play. Now, on Chloe's side, I think Khloe dipped into Hera and then left, but I'm not 100% sure.
No, Khloe did not.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, immediately went to Spiral Cave.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, even though had the hammer, could definitely get over there and full complete it, but just opted not to do it. So we will see from Phant's side if there's anything in Pendant Hera. But if there isn't anything, that's going to be a few minutes worth of time that Khloe's going to be able to catch up with Phant's progression. Yeah,
a little depend if Phant decides to continue further into the dungeon. Now, he did get the big key from that first chest, and then he got his first non-dungeon item here, but he is going to leave. So he says, I'm not going any further. 1 item is plenty. The likelihood that the other item is the required thing is pretty small, especially since he's reasonably close to go mode in his mind even.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think. There's the only thing that can possibly be on pedestal at this point would be Ether if Mire is also not Ether. So I would say it's a pretty high percentage play to just skip out on the rest of Pendant Hera until you kind of know what it is. You don't need to go there.
Right. Plus, you'll basically be heading back to Death Mountain at some point for routing purposes, and it is not that much faster to just go back in to continue upstairs. So pretty reasonable play, and Phant will now continue into the Dark World. Chloe's working on Thieves Town, has gotten his boots, has gotten his actually he did not pick up the sword from Hammer Pigs yet. He opted to do this first.
Yeah,
but that will be coming, and the Master Sword, of course, will be coming from the attic in just a moment as well. So Khloe will catch up on swords, and he'll be very happy to have done so.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the biggest question on my mind, outside of the obvious Ether one, is, you know, where could this lamp logically be? And so because we don't have flippers, it can't be in Ice Palace just quite yet, and we don't have the mirror and flippers to be in Green Pendant Swamp. So it could have desert.
I mean, it could still be.
It could be in Turtle Rock, actually.
Yeah, it could be way further along the chain than we realized, dude. Like, there's none of the stuff that actually requires dark rooms has actually been a blocker yet. And also, neither runner has really sequence broken anything interesting out of darkness. The mushroom came from the Hellway and technically was not, as far as I know, blocked by the darkness. So I think that, boy, that sounds like a Kingdom Hearts line of dialogue, blocked by the darkness. Anyway, Chloe's continuing
if I knew Kingdom Hearts knowledge, I would have probably understood that.
Fair enough. Chloe's getting the flute right now. There it is, and Phant is going to pick up his book and then a mirror shield from this upcoming chest in just a moment. So
yeah,
that's actually pretty hilarious. That you know, it's a totally like almost useless item, except boy is it nice if you get to Laser Bridge.
and I want to note on here, Phant just save and quit, so he's not going to Spike Cave.
All right, that's
gonna.
Well,
oh no,
oh well, he has the
flute.
flute. Yeah, I got all excited for just a second.
Oh man,
yeah, it's
well, knowing what I know about Phant, this is actually something that he does quite often. He will put off Spike Cave until it is the very last thing, and unfortunately, and in this logic, I can't blame him. Spike Cave hasn't been the best as far as having progression, but unfortunately in this seed, it had a very key item, and we'll just see. I mean, obviously, Pod and finishing Eastern are locked behind it, so there's less options for where the bow actually could be.
Yeah, and I think in his ideal world, he really wants the mirror to come later, to be blocked by the bow, because if the mirror is blocked by the bow, that shuts off a ton of locations that he just cannot check until he's got that bow, and therefore he'll be more likely to get it. As for Khloe, though, Khloe is, you know, without of course knowing it, Khloe will be perfectly happy for Phant to take as long as he wants to get to that bow in Spike Cave. Looks like the big key in the map chest in Desert, so Phant not oh wow!
Oh my goodness! Well, that is
so close to go mode, dude, and that is no mode for us.
That is commentators no mode considering dark rooms.
At least as far as sequence breaks are concerned, if they can both do fake flippers and they can both do dark rooms, then we have no mode.
Wow. At 41 minutes, sure. I guess that's a thing. And the thing is too, tempered silverless Ganon is pretty straightforward, honestly. So they're not even going to have that as an issue going forward as well. The one thing, did Phant go back and get the purple chest ever, or has he never been back to Village of Outcasts since turning in the black?
I don't believe that he's gotten the purple chest. So
okay.
And meanwhile, Khloe, of course, since they neither have the mirror, it's a huge. Oh, hey, speaking of things that are a huge pain. So Phant has both items in Desert now. There's the Ethan Medallion and Shovel, but that will be kind of a pain to check as always, especially because you can't loop it in with like Stumpy or anything like that because you don't have a mirror. And Khloe also doesn't have the mirror, so we'll see whether Khloe decides to, after turning in the blacksmith, go back to the Dark World and check up on the purple chest. But I would be surprised to see that.
Yeah, actually, I believe it was. Max plus Pi, thank you for mentioning in chat. So literally for go mode, Khloe just needs to go to Desert. I mean, obviously Saw had an issue with Dark Maze, but wouldn't have to do that particular Dark Maze anymore. Could just go straight to Helmasaur. I think the only, just the Turtle Room is probably the only hard dark room left because they don't have to do Mire, and Mire is probably the hardest dark room in the game.
Correct, and with Fire Rod, that Turtle Room becomes way less crappy for Khloe. I mean, for anyone, obviously, but you get my point. The one that is kind of a wild card is the Turtle Rock Dark Room, not because it's difficult. Actually, it's probably among the easier in the game, but more because it's actually not super common for people to know how to do it because the situation where you have to do it arises so infrequently. Now, Khloe has definitely shown that he's a student of Randomizer. The one thing that we are seeing from Khloe, though, is he's just getting kind of beat up a lot over the course of the run. And so you got to wonder, like, will he want silvers? Will Phant want silvers? Will Phant's, Phant always is kind of pretty nervous during races. Will his nerves kind of make him say, I would really like to not have to do, silverless Ganon? So there's still some wild cards there. And of course, Phant is still not in go mode anyway, but we'll see how that ends up playing out.
All right, Phant's almost done with Land Mollusk right now. Just needs one more spin, I believe. And there we have it. It's 2 cycle from Phant and getting the map. And that's going to be Phant's 3rd crystal of the seed. That is one thing that Phant has over Khloe right now. Khloe's not finished Skull Woods, and Phant has already dipped into Desert Palace and being that as well.
Well, here's the other good thing for Phant as we're thinking about just how things work out. Phant cannot finish Eastern Palace or Pod. He can't get into Swamp. He can reach Ice Palace, but not by logic. He hasn't even bothered checking Misery Mire. and he could enter Turtle Rock. So he's kind of limited on options, and actually Turtle Rock seems like a potentially good one for him, which might draw him back towards Spike Cave.
Yeah, we saw the fake powder glitch on Khloe's side and just getting a big 20, but it's probably going to go and turn in that mushroom right here. Maybe it's a quick check with Flute, so let's see where Khloe decides to opt to right now.
And if Khloe does turn in that mushroom, we're going to find out whether or not that pod play was either vitally important. Phant is actually going right back up DM, actually, so we'll see which of the numerous things he's opting to do right now.
I believe Phant is going to be doing a Turtle Rock play.
That certainly seems
based
likely.
on going back up here.
So.
Just the biggest bomb capacity upgrade right there. And so Mushroom was not needed for the seed. It was just a bit of a troll. And Khloe is indeed going to be heading over to...
Probably stopping in the Mire area first if he's reconsidering like this. Yeah, looks like it. So it cost him a little bit of time as he would have picked up Ether momentarily. But Phant, meanwhile, he's gonna take that Turtle Rock portal. He is going to open that door, and he is going to probably head in there. So this is a pretty reasonable play. Hopefully after this, he will be incentivized to go get that bow. But of course, from Khloe's perspective, Khloe's thinking, don't do it. Don't do it. Just go far away from Spike.
Yeah. Okay. So just a double big 20 in the Mire Shed. And based on how Khloe was thinking, is probably just going to flute directly back to Desert. I think feels like that area is probably the best options in Easy Crystal. And Phant's rechecking the map. I think deciding, just making sure, I think it's a crystal.
Yeah,
don't want to dip in a pendant Turtle Rock and be like, oh, wait a second, there was nothing here. It feels bad, man.
Well, no, dude. In Randomizer, you always supply. See, there's what they call the sunk cost fallacy.
Okay.
But in Randomizer, it's the sunk cost truism. If you've already invested a bunch of time into something, you have to see it through. You have to keep going. That's how it works.
Okay. Also known as go big or go home.
That's right. That's the winning play, dude.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, we are going to see some new stuff on Phant's side as Khloe's going to pick up that Ether Medallion momentarily and be in go mode shy of 48 minutes in this seed, which is pretty crazy. But Phant, meanwhile, will be uncovering the secrets of Turtle Rock. We'll get to find if there's any other, not necessarily strictly required progression.
Yeah, and actually, just as a note, from Khloe getting Ether right now, getting that early big key means you can actually skip the vanilla big key chest location in Turtle Rock if you're doing it in go mode. And there you go. So Khloe is indeed going to be treating this like go mode, and because obviously not going to the right-hand side, going for where the shovel was. And so this will be interesting. If Phant goes and grabs that bow, we could be looking at a very, very close race.
Yeah, and if not, we could be looking at a very sad race. But Khloe right now is behind by 2 dungeons in terms of completion. But yeah, that bow advantage is so large that even if you're trying to judge a lead right now, you can't necessarily just say based on that. Phant needs to head to Spike Cave ASAP after this. And unfortunately, of course, all this time in Turtle Rock, he's just going to kind of, fortunately not burn too much time, but he is going to burn some time checking a bunch of locations that just don't have the thing that he cares about. Although, of course, there could be something like a lamp, I suppose.
Jeez, these chain chomps, man, they're out for blood right now.
This is a room. This is being a room. Oh, baby.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, even after the iframe, still hidden Phant. All right, so Khloe is going to opt to use that green goo right here to light up the torches. Because again, it had to burn it right there. Doesn't have a lantern, so couldn't conserve it.
Yeah, there's one small magic pot in a pot there, but yeah, Khloe does not have the lantern, so you need a full quarter of your magic bar to be able to fire 2 fire rod shots to light that up. But now that he has full magic, he's able to attempt to light up the landmolars, but 2 of them short hopped, which was kind of rude. But that's all right. The third one is
barely squeaks out the extras the earlier cycle, so saved a tiny bit of time on Phant right there. Not by much, because it just required 1 more clear for Phant. Yep. And that's Khloe's second crystal, and might opt to just go straight back to Skull Woods.
Phant picking up the Cane of Burna, I wonder if that might make him think even more of Spike Cave, but, you know, possibly not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, Khloe, where are you going to go next? What's your next option? You gonna... Okay, gonna opt to probably get another blue pot, burning that green pot right there.
Refueling stop is never a bad plan.
Just another green pot.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of green pots.
Okay.
This makes sense. I mean, you saw the half magic very early in the siege. You know exactly where it is. It's locked behind Aghanim. You're never getting it. So you might as well get some green pots. What are you talking about?
I thought you go kill Aghanim and go mode.
Clearly, yes.
You go do dark. Go do dark rooms Aghanim to go get the half magic.
You know, it's actually not as hard as you might think with the fire rod, but it is pretty hard.
Yeah. All right, so Khloe is gonna opt to do the is gonna do Eastern Palace first. Again, doesn't have the mirror, and so has to do Eastern Palace first before doing pod. Otherwise, it's it's a waste of time to go route there and flute there twice. So we should be seeing a pretty quick one, unless we haven't seen either of them actually dip into here, so we don't know where the big key is.
That's true. Well, oh no. Phant picking up the mirror in the roller room in Turtle Rock. So he is going to, of course he'll check Mimic Cave here, but this is potentially going to incentivize him to check a lot of stuff that he really does not want to check. Now, he will still be right up here on Death Mountain right after he finishes this, but boy, that mirror is going to strongly encourage him to go spend a bunch of other time doing stuff that he really doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
So Phant's last hope really is, after Turtle Rock, that he's just like, you know what, I'm not coming back to Death Mountain for a long time.
Yeah.
Go do Spike Cave.
Yep, 100% agree. Because thankfully it doesn't open up Swamp Palace yet, because there's no flippers to put in there, but it has things like easy purple chest access. You've got South of Grove, and you've got Bombos Tablet as well, which are their overworld checks. They're not that slow with Flute, but
they're slow.
They're kind of still slow.
All right, here's Phant's Turtle Rock Dark Room. This is a fun one that, again, you don't often see people do, but fortunately this is actually pretty straightforward. You just have to hold your D-pad in the right direction. Now, here's an interesting note. This is actually the first... Okay, Phant triggered the door. This is the first race that Phant is doing on console. He's actually been on emulator until now, and now he's on console for the first time. Now, that may slightly change up the timing in this room, but fortunately, it looks like he's... Oh, baby.
Get it?
Okay, no, he's fine. He turned early, but now he's good to go. Okay. And he is through, so... A little bit of a scary moment at the very end there for Phant, but he's through. Meanwhile, Khloe doing the Dark Room of Eastern Palace, and that one being really easy for him as well with that Fire Rod.
Yeah, very, very nice use. You pretty much have to walk in that room, go slightly, like tiny, like pixeled up, and then Fire Rod to the right, and then you've pretty much got it good. You're going to be doing something similar to that in the Turtle Room, going through Pod. And, now that I think about it, it's actually interesting that they kind of designed each of those this way. Oh, Phant, you gotta be careful, buddy. He did take the safety sword, so he's not as bad here.
And he's taking very gingerly just to make sure that he doesn't get clipped by that laser again. It's actually not that bad with Mirror Shield, obviously, but, when you're on 2 hearts, sometimes you get inside your own head and make mistakes that you wouldn't otherwise make.
Interesting. It's not going to actually intentionally kill himself to refill his health. I mean, being on what's essentially going to be 2 hearts here in a second is a little bit iffy, even with Red Mail. Trinex will kill you. And
not having powder either, so he can't refill right here. Now, maybe he's hoping to get a heart from something else, but he didn't get one from the Helmasaur. Meanwhile, Khloe's Armorous Knights went down real quick, and so he has now collected 3 crystals and will be working on Pod very shortly. Now, does not have the mirror, so this has to involve another flute down to 5, but it's really not that costly time-wise. And does Phant have any potions left at this point?
I think Phant still has that blue pot. I don't think he's used the blue pot yet.
Unfortunately, if he gets hit here, he's not going to have a chance to use it. He's just going to die. Oh, Phant.
Boy.
Oh, Phant. Okay. Oh, the head is gonna strike, but he's all right.
He's on. Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh,
nope.
He's
gonna have to. burn.
Oh,
it.
he's so fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why didn't you drink that already? Come on.
Hey man, I guess don't do it if you don't have to.
What a guy. All right, well, Phant does take out the first phase of Trinex, and he'll be able to make quick work of the second phase as well. He's got plenty of hearts. He'll be fine. Khloe, meanwhile, heading back into pod and already having cleared most of it. But this is really the moment of truth for this race, because Phant is pretty even with Khloe in terms of dungeon completion. But this is it. If Phant doesn't go to Spike Cave here, the door is wide open for Khloe.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's going to be eons before Phant decides to go back there next. Oh, Khloe's going to the back. Interesting. I don't know what Khloe's trying to get back here. Oh, did not get the big key. I guess the big key is locked in the dark maze. So it's going to... Oh, it looks like Phant is making his way over to Spike Cave. So if he does that, this race is going to instantly be very, very interesting.
He does have that mirror, so that allows him to easily get back to check that Ether tablet, which Khloe did not manage to check earlier. And this could also be the incentive he needs to check Spike Cave, but it also could just end with him leaving right after this tablet.
My gosh.
This is the moment of truth there. Khloe working on the dark maze meanwhile, which got him earlier, but this time, no problem. He was able to make quick work of it. Picked up an item of some sort. And Phant is going back to the east, and he is going to Spike Cave. Oh, wow, we have a race on our hands, Trojan.
There we go. Well, we're going to have go mode for both of our runners. Phant's going to come just cresting the 56-minute mark. And I'm still unsure what Khloe's trying to do right here. I think was trying to...
She's trying to...
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Trying to walk out.
Yeah, that rumor's given him some problems, but he did manage to navigate successfully, and now he'll be heading to that boss.
Indeed. All right. And so, if you're Phant, I think you probably do well. You might end up doing Ice Palace first. Just maybe this will have lamp. Yeah, you might bank on that. That seems like a reasonable play, but it wouldn't be a bad decision to do what Khloe did. And so, okay, it's going to do the same thing Khloe did.
Yep, except he's going to have a slightly faster overworld traversal here. He'll be able to go into pod, do pod, and then mirror out to, mirror to the light world to do Eastern Palace. So that's going to help him a little bit. It's not a huge advantage, but given how close this is right now, that could easily be a deciding factor. Now, the other thing is one of the Khloe's dungeons that he has not done that Phant has is Skull, and then the other one is Turtle Rock, whereas Phant just has to finish up Pod, probably a comparable length to Turtle Rock, and Eastern, which is possibly a comparable length to Skull. So overall, both of these remaining completions is all going to be really fast.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. One of two things. Phant can get a couple keys and bank on the back having the big key. It is a fairly high percentage gamble, and that will actually save quite a bit of time over what Khloe did in pod. And in Eastern, we didn't mention earlier, but the third chest actually had the big keys, so they didn't have to go around, do that dark room or anything like that. So Eastern was fairly fast.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice time save in that dungeon. I believe it's around 80 seconds, all that stuff. I have a really nice Palace of Darkness clear here. He's going to be able to mirror the hammer room with the or turtle room with the hammer, and now is going to be heading in to King Helmasaur.
All right, so it looks like Phant is not gonna well, let's see if he goes bow side. This'll see whether he's gonna do a full clear or not.
I would not be surprised if he did, because there's a good chance of the big key being there. I'd also not be surprised if he skipped it, but he is going to bow side, so he'll see if the key is there, and if it's not, that's fine. But it looks like what he is gambling is that the big key chest has nothing, which, as we know, it doesn't. It has the small keys, so going to be a successful play for Phant, but this will, of course, cost him some hypothetical time compared to if he were psychic and knew where the big key was.
And Khloe was getting a big hug from Helmasaur King there as getting the last slash. I mean, just this big
We're both
Big turtle
pantomiming
hug.
hugs.
Yeah. You can't see it, but we were definitely doing that. All right. So Phant is completing the bows locked side, and with this key count,
this is actually going to be scary for Phant because he opened that front door, but he's going to be thinking he just got one non-key item. He's going to be thinking, oh man, that's 4 keys. That big key chest could have an item in it.
Yep.
And in fact, he's actually going back for it. So, you know, this is, again, this is not the worst because Khloe sunk all this time already. Meanwhile, we are going to see Khloe go ahead and, oh, flippers. Khloe got the flippers somewhere along the way there.
Khloe, was that the dark item?
Yeah, I didn't even notice where that was. I'm sure chat will help us out though. Oh, it's on Helma. Oh, we just looked away.
Yeah. Sorry, I was so engrossed with what Phant was doing right there for a second and how he was going to route that I just totally missed the flippers.
We are professional commentators here. Thank you very much. But yeah, so Phant gets his disappointment, and Khloe will be doing the Go Mode Ice Palace clear. I would be surprised, especially having gotten the actually difficult dark rooms out of the way. I'd be very surprised if Khloe did try to pick up any extra chests.
Yeah, might try and bank on maybe silvers being in this room. I'm just gonna actually go mode Ice Palace. So obviously is comfortable with tempered and no silvers. So yeah, that's that kind of I think maybe after getting, you know, the early game where it was really shaky, I think Khloe's gotten his confidence back as the seed has gone on and on.
Yeah, I think if you're in the situation where you know you can do tempered without silvers, but you'd really like to have silvers to save that time, you check very, very minimal chests. The stuff you check is like maybe the freezer room in Ice Palace, and then a couple in GT, but like nothing else. That's it. That's all you check. Because anything else is just a big waste of time. Plus, you know that you have Turtle Rock coming up, where you have to check a crap load of chests. There's just no avoiding it.
Yep. All right, let's see how quickly Khloe can do the Ice Palace bomb jump right here, saving a million years by doing this. And it's always interesting to see which setup people go with. And it's nice that there are a couple setups that you can do for this.
Yeah, looks like Khloe's trying to get the spin. Oh, no, he might have been going for it, but he got a good setup there, so he's across. Only took a couple falls, but fortunately, those are only 1 damage each, so not at all a huge deal, and he has a million bombs, so he's fine.
Yeah. I don't know if 18 is a million. Is it divisible?
Approximately, yeah. No, 18 is approximately equal to 1 million.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Please tell me where you got your math degree from.
No.
Okay.
So Phanta is actually getting bodied a little bit in the dark maze here, and unfortunately the big key is in the bottom chest, so he needs to be pretty careful here, but he does have that mirror to be able to escape, so as soon as he gets through here, he does take a little more damage, but I believe he has made it there.
Yeah. And
that is the big key. There you go. Invisible. He checks. Hey, it's the big key. Cool. I mean, that was the only chest we could use.
I mean, it had to be there, so.
Is he
going to check the... Oh, no, there you go. Okay. I think he was thinking about going to the big chest to see if there was an item or not, but just opted to skip out on it.
I'm unsure. My guess would be that he was maybe trying to death work. Oh, yeah, no, he wants to death work. Just wants to get that health back. Unfortunately, these mini helmets don't do a lot of damage if you are in red mail, as it happens.
Quarter health. Not very fast. So Khloe is starting off the cold stare fight right here, and hopefully you can get through it. Get him in the corner, and there we go. Get some nice slashes in there.
He does get bodied once, but a couple times. Now he does have potions, but they're all green. But fortunately, he's got a safe position now, so he's good to go.
Very nice fight from Khloe right there. That's gonna be Khloe's 5th crystal. He's gonna head straight over to Skullwoods, finish what Phant has already done, and do the second item after that in Turtle Rock that Phant has already done.
Yeah, so as Phant finishes up his 5th crystal, this is going to be pretty close, but Phant's still going to have Eastern Palace left, and then he's still going to have Ice Palace left, so I think Khloe's got a little bit of a lead here, but it's hard to say by how much just because of the length of Turtle Rock, where Phant is nearly already done with the longest of his dungeons.
Yeah, I think it honestly might be that difference of being able to go mode Turtle Rock versus not go moding Turtle Rock. That might be the difference between the two runners right now, approximately, which I would say is probably about a minute or a minute and a half.
I guess it depends. Thinking back to Turtle Rock, I recall that there was a small key in the big chest, and there was a small key on the, I want to say, second chest of Laser Bridge. So if Khloe does do a typical go mode route, he will skip the vanilla big key location and save a key that way, which means he'll only need one key at the end.
Yep.
However, he'll also probably skip the big chest. So if he does that, he will still need to do Laser Bridge. But we'll see. If he doesn't skip the big chest, he'll be fine, and that will make his clear just that much faster. Although I'm actually, I guess between Laser Bridge and the big chest, I'm not sure which is actually faster.
Yeah, I think if it's on like the last chest, I think the big chest is slightly faster, but I think it has to be in the last chest you check. Because it's not far that out of the way.
All right, Phant getting very, very aggressively introduced to those turtles. All saying hi to him at the same time, but thanks for that tempered sword. They're very, very easy to deal with.
Yep, and likewise, the tempered sword, you know, both of them are going to have that same loadout going to Mothula. So, you know, let's see if Khloe's Moth fight goes about the same as Phant did, any better, you know, any worse. That'll see if there's any extra time sink on the Moth fight.
We'll see. Khloe did dip out of here earlier, having only the fighter sword and 10 hearts. Now he's got 13, still red mail, but also has that tempered sword. Should definitely make it a lot easier, but he also has the advantage of those 3 green potions.
That's a lot of green goo, man. Is that like harvested alien blood? You know, from some crazy Hollywood film or anything like that?
I'm just going to drop that one on the floor. As Phant finishes up King Helmasaur, he'll pick up his flippers, which he does not need, but, you know, will make use of. And then he will be mirroring back to Eastern Palace. And then it's Ice Palace for him, as Khloe getting the head start on the Mothula fight. And that was very quick for him.
Yeah, very nice. Got a little bit better RNG right there from Mothula, as we've got almost synced crystal pickups right there from both runners. A completely different sides of the map.
Yep. And of course, number 6 for Khloe versus number 5 for Phant. So that is a sizable advantage for Khloe. And, you know, this is a great opportunity while these runners are both going to be, you know, kind of just completing dungeons. Just remind you guys, if you are impressed by the level of play that you're seeing here, and, of course, the closeness of this race as we near the final stretch, then definitely consider giving the runners a follow, because they're both really skilled at Link to the Past Randomizer to get this far in the tournament. Hit !R in the chat for info. Meanwhile, Eastern Palace versus Death Mountain Climb.
Yep, very much so. And again, Phant still has to do Go Mode Ice Palace. So when you combine the two, it's approximately Turtle Rock. Can we use it? Can we use dungeons as time measurements?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay, yeah, I'd say that like Eastern Palace plus Ice Palace is probably about it's probably about 1.1 Turtle Rocks.
You're hurting me.
Am I always though?
Yeah, pretty much always. Phant will be getting that big key pretty soon, so he'll be able to finish up Eastern Palace. And in that time it's taken to do that, Khloe is just getting to the door of Turtle Rock, so that shows you the relative difference. But that said, at the end of Ice Palace, Phant is going to have to travel back up Death Mountain, whereas Khloe is going to be able to just walk straight on over to GT. So actually, this definitely seems like a pretty sizable advantage for Khloe, like possibly a couple minutes, but it may come down to it may come down to Phant trying to figure out how to actually get through a big key door. It may come down to that that mirror that Phant has. It'll depend if Khloe actually opens that chest to get it.
Yeah, that's actually a slightly big deal. I think we'll do that because we'll be looking for... Actually, might not, because won't be looking for that last key if they go the big chest route. So yeah, might not actually ever open that chest. Yeah,
it'll really depend on Khloe's route, and it'll also depend on his confidence. Like, he might, even if he gets that key from the big chest, he might just be like, you know what? Maybe this Crystal Roller chest has silvers, because it's really fast to get. So it would have to be, you know, pretty, you know, he'd have to be very, very confident to just not even bother with it. But here comes Phant's Armos already, as Khloe's just starting the Fire Rod portion here. This, you know, just seeing how quick these dungeons can be. Going for the no major glitches strat, but not quite working out. He slashes one of them. That does actually damage them.
Yeah, He's like, give me some room, bro. I gotta damage you. Oh, this is a nice little strat from the top, although that one's not gonna work as well.
Yeah, but it does finally work out, and he gets his kills, and he is done with Eastern Palace. Crystal number 6 for Phant. He is going to be heading to Ice Palace to complete his last dungeon. Khloe heading out of the roller room here. Runs out of magic, but we'll be able to pick up a full decanter from under this pot.
Yeah, very nice use of Cape right there. It's a little bit slower than the Burnus Dash strat, but when you already have Kate out, it saves them enemy time, so it's not that much slower. And Phant is going to be fluting over to gain some pots. I think has 2 available, so he's going to get 2 blue pots.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got all the bottles. He's got all the bottles he wants, dude. He's got so many bottles.
You gotta save one of those for Fairy, man. You gotta use that net. We had that net for nearly the whole game, and we haven't used it once.
That's true. It started out so rough for Khloe, and he said, you know, no, I'm fine. He settled in very nicely in this seed. He's playing with a ton of confidence right now, as you said. Phant, for his part, also doing the same. Just you know, right now it's just that difference in dungeons and whether or not Phant's Ice Palace will be as fast as the rest of Khloe's Turtle Rock. Now, the front half of Turtle Rock is way slower than the back half, so as Khloe gets through here, it's going to come to an end pretty quickly.
Yep.
While Phant still has to do all this stuff in Ice Palace.
Yeah, and you know, how many attempts the Ice Palace bomb jump Phant's going to have to do. So Khloe is going to steal that key. And now the moment is going to come very shortly where let's see if Khloe opts to go the big chest route, which is a little bit safer, or the more aggressive route of skipping that chest.
And either one will work. There are small keys both on Laser Bridge and in the big chest. And he did not open the middle, so he's fine. But he is going to skip the big chest. There it is.
Okay, so that means is going to probably find that mirror.
Very
because
likely.
of that.
Yep, so that is not super likely to make a difference in terms of the outcome in Ganon's Tower. So it could still come down to routing decision of, you know, various types in there, but it should not come down to this mirror, as I would be very surprised if Khloe doesn't go left for this chest right now. Yeah, there it is.
All right, and so that means it could come down to Ganon execution. Ooh, missing a lot of arrows right here. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Running a little bit low on arrows too.
Shouldn't be a huge deal, but 9 is 1 more than you need.
Was that key clipping through the spike?
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Looks like the dark room for Khloe. He is totally confident. Is able to lift the skull, get on the switch. Is kind of low on hearts again. And remember, all those potions he has, they're all green. None of them are blue. None of them are red. It's all green. So that is, you know, possibly a little bit of a scary thing for him. But he's just, you know, he's confident for now.
Yep.
He also doesn't even have that that mushroom to do fake powder, even if he wanted to.
It doesn't have mirror shield either. So is definitely going to use the safety door right here. Very, very useful strat.
You could even go outside and pick up the safety fairies if you wanted to.
It's going to use 1 bottle right here, and it's going to use the cape.
Okay.
Okay, that seems like a pretty reasonable choice to do right here. And I believe it was in the second chest.
Yeah, second from the top was my recollection. Yeah. But I might be wrong. I'm wrong.
I was right. Correct.
All right. I see how it is.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna be heading over again. Also, no powder on Khloe's side, so is just opting to go into the fight with tempered. Oh, missed the skull hit.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh boy. All right. Okay.
No, this is fine, dude.
All right. Well, Colt's there for Phant. May be wrapped up before Khloe gets his start, as he's got the shell broken. Gets the puffs in towards the corner, getting some great tempered hits in there. Does take a hit, but is able to kill off all 3 puffs very quickly. And now turn your attention to the left for Khloe's Trinex fight.
Oh, and well, wait a second, hold on. We have isn't there something that we have to talk about?
Oh, that's true. Phant's got his 7th crystal. Ganon's Tower guessing game. Actually, you better get in really quick because how does this work? Khloe's gonna enter.
Whoever goes in first.
Yeah, so Khloe's gonna enter Ganon's Tower first. All right.
Oh my goodness, we have Khloe on 1 heart right now, and that is why red mail is very important. So Bull's gonna start it right now, and Khloe is hopefully gonna get through without dying. it has a blue pot.
Oh, he does have a blue pot. Okay, we were misled the whole time. Everything's fine.
Yeah. All right, so just needs one more tempered slash. Very, very nice.
This is going to be incredibly close. Khloe will be entering Ganon's tower first, but Phant will be right behind it.
This can't be more than probably 30 seconds.
That's my guess as well.
Yeah.
Because Khloe's just waiting on this crystal cutscene. Phant's got to climb the mountain, jump on that portal, and then travel to the left. Khloe just has to travel to the left. This is going to be very fast for both of them. I can't believe it actually closed in this quickly, but wow. We are going to see, and again, it could very easily come down to Ganon's tower routing decisions if, you know, if they diverge, I guess.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to see what people do with getting a small key in those first two chests, because then some people are like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to do the density play, go left side and whatnot. And, you know, some people are just like, all right, I'm just going to do those 4 chests on the right side for more efficiency. So that might be the difference here, if that's the case.
Yeah, we'll see. Phant getting his teleporter, and he is headed to the west. Khloe already in the Ganon's Tower cutscene. We'll check those timestamps for you and get you an exact difference.
What chest are you picking for today, Bula?
I'm going to go with 8. I like 8. It's a good number.
All right. I always go with 11 because that's my lucky number, so it's that.
All right, well, there's Phant in the cutscene right now as Khloe is entering first room. The Hope Room gets a small key from number 1, and number 2 is a map, and will mirror and go left.
All right, so let's see if Phant opts to do the same thing, or if it's going to do the efficiency route and go right side.
This is about a 30-second gap, as we guessed. So there you go. Phant, I believe, is more likely to continue to the right with that small key, knowing what I know about him. Khloe, meanwhile, is going to keep going. I mean, crazier things have happened. We could see Khloe decide to go for the Dark Magician route suddenly and go all the way back to Hope Room. It doesn't make a lot of sense if you started on the right, but we'll see. But Phant is continuing to the right here.
Yeah. All right, so we've got number 4 and number 5. Just a piece of heart, no refill. Number 6 is 5 rupees. And number 7 is
small
the
key.
3rd small key. Okay.
All right. Now, by the way, if you're playing along at home, the count is based on the first person that entered GT. So regardless of when Phant finds it, it's based on when Khloe finds it. That's just how it works.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Phant he's having a little trouble with this fire rod room. He does get it set up now and gets through the door barely, as Khloe checks number 9, and it's just a bomb, triple bomb.
Yep.
That
bomb.
thing.
Yeah. It's a cluster of bombs.
Yeah, a cluster bomb. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, here's the right side for Phant, though. This could be huge, depending. It's silver arrows.
That's silvers. That's pretty massive.
It's the big key.
There's the big key for Phant right there.
And he is not going to forget a small key this time. He is continuing to pick that up, as Khloe is going to take quite a while to get over here.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's probably going to be. That's normally 18 or 19, depending on your 18, 19, 20, 21 for the route that Khloe is doing.
All right, well, Phant is already on his way up, as Khloe is going to check out Randomizer room. I'm bad at counting, so I said the firebar room was 9, or it was probably 8, but I don't know, whatever, it's fine. This is a number, this is another number, this is yet another number, and they're all rupees, dude.
Everything was money in there.
Literally.
It was the cash cow room, not the rando room.
Dude, all those chests were money.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah. So Phant's starting off, and getting silvers right there is really important, because it makes Landmalus possibly a little bit faster, depending on, you know, not having half magic here is probably going to opt to use those. And I would expect that Khloe will pick up silvers, because we'll probably check all 4 of those chests before heading up, just to see if that is silvers. So we're going to have probably an even loadout, with Phant having a couple minute advantage over Khloe from when they get the big key.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Khloe, because they're both on tempered and silvers, or at least they will be by the time they get there, Khloe knows that he's not really going to be able to save time just based on his opponent possibly making a mistake on Ganon. That's just so much less likely when you have tempered and silvers. It's such a safer setup for that fight. It's not outside the realm of possibility. I mean, any runner is capable of just having, you know, a moment. We've seen it from every runner of all skill levels, but you just aren't counting on it. You're not expecting it.
All right, I think it's Khloe gonna try and save some arrows.
That's an interesting choice. Armors take a lot of swings, and unfortunately misses one there. And yeah, it's still more swings. You might as well just shoot the arrows. Oh boy. It's not a time loss Khloe really wants right now.
No, definitely not. And I mean, might be opting to do this because maybe feeling pretty good about the time right now. And oh, Phant having a bit of issue with Land Molest too right here. If you get off script in this fight, it becomes a little bit iffy. But there you go. Good end of the fight right there, showing some displeasure to the big worms. Well, we've got one more big worm coming up, isn't that right?
That's true. We've got our good old friend Moldorm, who is looking forward to an encounter with both of these runners. But, you know, with the Tempered Sword, it's just one spin and one slash to take him out. So you're really going to hope to see neither runner have any problems with him. We'll see how that goes when we get here. We got these torch rooms coming up. Now, Phant under half of his magic bar remaining, so he will have to use the lamp for a couple of these torches.
They don't have the lamp.
Oh man, my brain just caught up with that.
Does he have a pot? I think he has one.
Oh yeah,
pot.
he does. Yeah, no,
he's got 3 blue pots.
Yeah, drink it up. You're fine, Phant.
You're fine, dude. Let's go.
Oh man, my brain, dude. We're catching up on remembering how things actually work in this.
Exactly.
It's so unusual to get here with that lamp too. Wow.
Khloe's having a bit of issue with these Gibdos right here. These guys are the absolute worst when you're trying to go through this room fast. And let's see, Khloe is going to go to the top one. Is going to get silvers. That's really nice.
Yep.
And there we have it.
There it is.
Maybe not going to check for butters, so we've got almost a full gauntlet difference right here between the two. So Phant's going to have to mess up horribly right here to give Khloe a chance. But a fall might bring it pretty close.
Well, it would have to be a very significant fall.
Yeah.
And the Ganon fight is just not even as long as this deficit either, so even if he had to redo it, it would be fine. But yeah, it's Phant's race to lose right now. He is going to do his absolute best not to do so. Of course, he has no idea. But he will dispatch Moldorm very effectively, so good job there. Not having any problems with that. Khloe just getting a little bit annoyed by those mimics, but 7 arrows left with silvers. That's plenty. Oh god, but the Beamos are getting involved. Oh no.
That's not very good. Probably gonna have to take a stop off at the safety room, most likely. Also, the winner from this time, I guess the closest 42 was Irunian. So congratulations.
Nice job.
You got another win on the leaderboard.
Guessing 22 though. That's rude. Come on. All right, Aga 2 for Phant. Beautiful triple to start it off. He is in just absolute top form right now, saying, I do not want to be eliminated right now. I want to win. I want to advance to this bracket.
Oh, that blue ball unfortunately messed up a good setup, and he's going to try and get it on this one.
Not quite. Just one more reflect onto Aghanim, and he is done, and on to Ganon. That will be it. So Ganon fight remains for Phant as Khloe is going to get started on the gauntlet. Having the hook shot out at the moment because he was just collecting the backups from the fairy room, but we'll see if he opts to pull out any other items to deal with this.
All right, and Phant is headed off to make some bacon right here, and let's see what fun facts Ganon has for us today, or, you know, if it's some sort of existential crisis.
I am your father's, mother's, sister's, brother-in-law's second cousin. Oh, no, it's just the normal one. Dang.
Well, paraphrase.
The paraphrase normal one, yeah. The normal one's in Japanese. Anyway, Phant needs to get 12 hits in with this Tempered Sword, or a spin with the Tempered Sword counts as 2 hits. So he can move on to phase 2. Looks like he's done it, so now Ganon's going to spin the fire staff thingy, and oh, Phant dodging right between the ring. That was beautiful.
Time, though, but that was pretty sick.
Yeah, and he again needs to get 12 hits in. Didn't quite pull it off. Oh, he did. Oh,
okay.
Beautiful.
Very nice. That's gonna be very, very good for Phant. And heading into phase 3.
And And not very many teleports so far. Again, busting out a couple here, but otherwise being pretty cooperative. Just needs to get one more hit in to be able to put the arrows into the pig and call it a night.
Yep, and Khloe just finishing off Land Mollusk 2 is going to be heading to the Wizard rooms right now. And grabbing some extra arrows for the Ganon fight. Very smart.
Phant not even bothering with the
is this
torch
going to be a triple? Is he going to get
That's
a triple?
a great setup for... Oh, not quite. He needed to move a little bit to the right, but that's all right. That's our number 4. Phant is victorious. He will walk into the door. Do not fall off. And he will claim his victory and move to 5 and 2, and he will clinch a spot in the bracket for the randomizer tournament.
Yeah, congratulations to Phant. We're going to get an official speed racing time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 4 seconds. So GG to Phant. And man, what a heck of a seed. I mean, no lantern, no mirror for the majority of it. Flippers was off of a go mode Helmasaur King. I mean, there wasn't really much progression we needed to actually, finish off the seed late in the game, and it gave it to us pretty nicely.
Yeah, that landmine bow being in Spike Cave had the huge potential right from that early time when Khloe got it, 25 minutes in, to absolutely ruin Phant's day, and he managed to route in such a way that he got back over to it at the time that he needed to, and he just did everything right. And so did Khloe, for that matter. Both of their routes just worked out incredibly well, and it just turns out that left-right decision against Tower did make the difference.
Yeah. And we'll see if okay, it looks like Phant is in setup right now. Let's see if we can get him in for an interview. And while Khloe is doing Moldorm, and Moldorm is off in this corner, and ooh, man, actually gives a little bit of good RNG there at the end. It's going to open the validation chest, and there you have it. Blue boomerang. Very nice.
All right, so we'll have Phant come in and join us right after Khloe finishes up, which should be real soon. We'll have both runners together. But Khloe now coming into Aga 2, getting a little bit softened up by those mini Helmas and the bumpers and the spikes there. That room is just incredibly rude.
Yeah. As soon as you get hit off one of those bumpers or one of those Helmasaurs, it can be a big problem. All right, Khloe starts off with a double right there, and let's see if you can get any hits on this upcoming one. Yeah, just gets one. So halfway there, and living on a prayer, going through Aghanim. Almost got that one.
Don't take Aghanim's hand, though, because that will not lead to anything good. You won't make it. All right, so one more hit left for Khloe. Just needs one more reflect here, and he will be done with Aghanim, and we'll move on to the Ganon fight.
Yeah, and I just want to, mention again, like how insanely well both of these runners did in this one, especially not having mirror for most of it. It requires you to have a lot of routing knowledge, and I felt like both of them routed the seed pretty freaking well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Khloe's route ended up being different, but still worked out really well. I mean, you can always second guess. You can say like, well, if you'd gotten the boots from Teef's down earlier, would have worked out a little better, because obviously you saw that from Phant. But then again, maybe it wouldn't have. So yeah, you just never know. But what we did see from both runners has been really impressive. So definitely hats off to both of them.
Yeah, and Khloe on 3 hearts. This is fine.
Totally all right. I want to bet, we thought, Khloe only has green potions left. I bet you he has like a blue pot hiding somewhere in there. I don't even know, dude.
And we're going to find out right now. And nope.
Okay, alas. No fairy.
Nope. No fairy. Could run down here and bonk for that one, but with red mail is like, no, I got this.
Yeah. I mean, this is the only time in the match where Khloe's really blinked at all. I mean, I shouldn't say that necessarily. Obviously, of course, the beginning was a little touch and go, but otherwise, Khloe's played confidently, and again, it's just a hard fight, coming in with a few hearts. I'm sure Khloe's already seen the Phant finished up, so he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to, kind of see if I can do it, and if I can do it, awesome, and if not, just a few hearts.
And gets the top right spawn right here, so that's really, really nice for Khloe. Gets those spins in, and is going to be heading into phase 3 here shortly. Does spawn fire bats, so has to be a little bit careful right here.
Shouldn't be too bad. And that was a very nice little arc around. So he's good to go. Just needs to get those next hits in. Now the pattern for the teleports will be different this time because of the death, but it still looks fairly friendly. We aren't seeing like 18 teleports or anything. I shouldn't have said anything before he's done, which is now. Okay. All right.
Not too bad. It was actually the same on the first 3, but the last one was different.
Interesting. Khloe does opt to go for the torch glitch, mostly because, oh, well, tried, but didn't quite get it. Fortunately, though, with the silver arrows, it's pretty safe, even if you don't have half magic. But, of course, Khloe has like 18 blue pots, so he's
Oh, Khloe, okay, there you go.
Interesting tip, it's really important. If you get hit by a fire bat in this fight, do not hold any directions on your D-pad, and you won't get knocked off. Going for a double.
Ooh,
almost.
Yep, playing it safe, very smart. And one final hit, and skewers the pig right there. And Khloe's going to be finishing up here. And the official SRL time...
SRTV.
Oh, SRTV time. Yeah, definitely speed racing TV. I think it was a little bit late. I think it was going to be about 1:30, like 15-ish, I think. It says 1:30, but I think Khloe finished a little bit beforehand. And hello, will you be my friend? I mean, yeah, sure, we'll be a friend with the seed. You know, I think it was pretty nice.
All right, well, Khloe is here to join us. We'll grab both in, and as we do grab both of our runners in here, Phant and Khloe, welcome. I just want to start with Khloe, just mentioned in chat. Congratulations on your randomizer PB.
Oh, thank you. That was a really fast run.
Yeah, that's for sure. Phant, we'll start with you, of course. Congratulations on the victory and advancing to the bracket. You know, that seed had some very great potential to ruin your day, and you managed not to let it. What are your overall thoughts? And then specifically with regard to that bow and spike cave, what were you thinking when you found that?
I was pretty nervous when I found that in Spike Cave, because that was going to be like the first thing I checked. I don't know why. Like I went into Dark World like as if I was going there. Then for some reason, like, wait a minute, I don't have the mirror. I can't go up to Hera. I guess I better save and quit from this. Like, oh, wait a minute, I should have just done Spike Cave. So I made sure to do it after everything else. But then I forgot to go back there. Then I got the Ether Medallion. I was like, okay, now I'm going to check it for sure.
Yeah, I noticed that too, that you did go into the Dark World and then noped out, and I think went to Village of Outcasts instead afterward. It was actually interesting. You guys diverged pretty heavily for the middle of that seed, and you guys were getting complete different progression, but you came together only about 30 seconds apart as you were entering Ganon's Tower. Khloe had finished up. Khloe was actually ahead by about 30 seconds, just finished up Turtle Rock as you were climbing Death Mountain. So I was wondering, since you had to go mode, I think it was like 3 dungeons.
Yeah, it was 3 dungeons.
3 dungeons. I mean, I know you were feeling nervous, you know, when you got the bow, but were you feeling good as far as like, you know, from an execution standpoint, that, you know, going through, they were actually pretty good ones to generally go mode?
I'm not the biggest fan of go boating pod just because of the potential for the big key location. And, you know, of course, I think it was the last chest I opened that had the big key.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can happen. But I was a little bit nervous with the dark rooms. I knew I already had, I think, a green potion left over. So like, okay, pod, as long as I light the torch, I'll be fine. I'll be able to go through this. And I was ready to just go fake flippers into Ice Palace. I did not want the flippers. Like, who needs flippers? Swamp isn't required. And then, hey, look where flippers showed up. Yeah, those 3 dungeons I'm pretty confident in. Obviously, I did a shopping trip beforehand to make sure I didn't have to worry about the situation of running out of magic in GT, which did happen. I was low on magic in the first torch room. I don't think I would have been able to do it in time. So, yeah, when I don't have half magic, that's something I like to do.
That raises a great point, because we also know that Khloe took some steps to make sure that that you wouldn't run out of magic, and I'm curious about that shopping trick where you bought, I think it was 3 green potions specifically instead of blue.
So I knew exactly where half magic was because I checked the lumberjack. I'm not sure if Phant checked that.
Yeah, I checked it. What a troll.
So I'm just like, alright, I'm not getting half magic this seed. I'm not finding lamp, so I'm gonna have to use fire rod for the rest. And I figured I was gonna go get silverless Ganon by the end of this, but
Oh yeah, funny how that works.
Lucky in the last couple of chests. I mean, if it was the next chest, I wouldn't have opened it because I mirrored immediately. I was really hoping the bow bought me some more time. I feel like it did, but my execution just went terrible when I entered GT, I think.
I mean, I think both of you had your moments as far as some slow rooms in GT. I don't think execution was like, it was actually more of, Phant went full right side and actually gave him the advantage in the end from that, where you went all the way around and had a fairly slow ice armos because you were trying to conserve those arrows. I did have one thing to mention that was actually a really funny aspect of this seed. We were noticing as you guys were starting to diverge pretty heavily between Khloe, your Death Mountain play versus Phant's Village of Outcast play, and we had Tempered Sword on Phant after he went to hammer pegs, and you were swordless, and so we had a really weird dichotomy on that. I wanted to get your feeling, Khloe. How are you feeling as far as like how long you waited until you, until you got a sword? Are you pretty comfortable in general with hammering in the, around in the Dark World?
Well, I mean, I would have. Going to Death Mountain was the correct play for me, and I was trying to ride that bow advantage, so I was going into. I went into pod because it was 5/6, and the other one was going to be Moth, and I was really hoping I was going to find a sword before I got to the Dark Rooms in pod. Like, I was hoping, since I went up to Death Mountain all the way to pod, that I was going to find a sword, but there was no swords until I went to left side Dark World.
They were all in the left side of Dark World. Except, of course, Gold Sword, which nobody found. Yeah. But that was really funny. I also was really amused by the mirror shield showing up in this seed. That's not super common. Khloe, I do want to ask, because it was kind of actually the deciding play in a lot of ways. You guys entered GT, Khloe 30 seconds ahead of Phant. 30 seconds in that seed. And it really did, by and large, come down to that left versus right play. So I wanted to ask you, Khloe, and then I'll also turn to you, Phant, about that routing choice. Do you customarily go Hope Room and then full left, or do you change it up depending on the situation? What kind of thinking do you apply to that?
If I get a small key, I always go right. Period.
Yo, you wait your turn.
Oh, sorry. I misheard the question. Go ahead, Khloe.
I mean, I just go by gut instinct. That's most of my plays anyways. It's just luck.
Okay, that's fair. All right, Phant, it's your turn now. Answer the question.
Okay, so what I do is if I get a small key in the right side, I will always go right, no matter what. Unless I don't have like the cane or something, but that doesn't happen too often.
I mean, I feel like that's the optimal way to play, but I don't know. I was just feeling like I should go left that time.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly understand playing by gut, because I definitely do a lot of that. I think what I'm aware of is that numerically the fastest average thing is to go Hope Room, and then if you get a key, go all the way right. Or I should say, go to the right room and then mirror back and do full left. But I'm always curious to know whether people ever metagame it at all. Does that for you, Khloe, in particular, does that ever enter your mind? Do you think about metagaming, or are you just focused on, I'm just going to play this seed as fast as I can, and if I beat my opponent, awesome, and if I don't, hats off to them?
I mean, yeah, I guess the odds are if there's a specific routing that would be optimal. It's just, it's not always, so, I mean, I do what I can.
Yeah, I just want to, I'm seeing both of your guys' end screens right here. I want to note the collection rate of 127 to 132, how close of a collection rate that was overall, which is why this was so close.
And also how low that is.
Yeah, how low that is, because normally you're around the 150, 155, I'd say is pretty average, but you guys absolutely destroyed that with just progression left and right, no matter which route you did. So, also going back to Phant, now that you've qualified for the brackets, how are you feeling going up against the competition, going into the elimination style now?
Yeah, I'm really pretty excited about it. This was my goal entering the tournament, and I think a lot of people's goal entering the tournament was just to make it to the bracket stage. But, you know, there's a lot of scary opponents, obviously. There's 128. It's around 128, right? I think is what it was.
Correct, it's 128.
And I was like, man, I recognize a lot of these names. That's bad if I recognize the name. Like, I recognized Khloe's name, and I was like, oh man, this is not going to be an easy win. I'm going to have to pull out my best here. And I'm looking forward to possibly a rematch with Pika Pals because, you know, if you noticed the way the key layout worked in this one, you go get the GT big key on the right side, and then I correctly followed through and picked up the small key under a pot.
We might have said something about that.
I was like, I'm never forgetting that again.
Victory.
Yes. All right. So I'm not going to do that again if we get rematched. So.
Well, going back to that, Phant, because obviously your road to get here was, you know, it was clean. Like you went 2-0, and then there was the rocky part, and then it was clean again. You went 3-0 for the rest of the way. But boy, that rocky part was really rocky, and I have to ask, you know, over the course of the 8 weeks of the Swiss stage, the 7 rounds, you know, what did you feel like? What did you go through as you were experiencing those losses and like, oh my god, am I torpedoing my chances? Like, what were you kind of thinking?
Yeah, the first two, or the 2 losses I had, they crushed me. I mean, there's no other word about it. Like, I'm okay if I lose to, like, oh, my opponent made a play over to this dungeon and I went to this dungeon, and no, he got the item and I didn't. That's perfectly fine. You know, that's randomizer. Or losing to execution, I fall on Ganon, I fall on Moldorm too. I have a 6-cycle Landmo fight, whatever it was this time. I'm okay with that, but those 2 losses really hurt because it was just the dumbest thing. You know, I already mentioned forgetting a small key going up the gauntlet. Then the other one, I forgot I had the Quake medallion for like 30 minutes, which was, I was hunting for go mode. And it's like, man. So it really feels bad. Like, after that, I was like, man, I got to win 3 in a row. This is going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, but you pulled it off. So I think we're going to be wrapping up here very shortly. But first, Khloe, I want to give you a chance for some final thoughts. You're not going to be going through the brackets because of the whole tiebreaker power ranking stuff. But, you know, finishing off 4 and 3, does this meet your expectations? Anything you want to say to your friends, fans out there?
I mean, I'm totally happy to finish positive. I've been restreamed, I think, 3 or 4 times this tournament too, which has been amazing because I've been able to rewatch these, and it's just great. And I mean, this is just total fun. I can't wait to see what the next tournament brings. As long as it's not Super Metroid, I suck at that.
It's a hard game, to be fair. I don't blame you.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Link to the Past Super Metroid Combo Randomizer tournament.
Well, thank you so much, Khloe, for participating and for putting on a great show for us today. That was an incredible race. And Phant, we'll throw to you. What are your thoughts as we wrap up the Swiss stage here, and you're about to move on to bracket?
Yep, bring on the bracket. Let's go. I'm excited. Fresh slate going in. Don't have to worry about getting eliminated with 1 more loss, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah, definitely. Bracket stage is going to be pretty hype. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. I want to first off thank our tracker, Dragon Master, for doing such a fantastic job there throughout the whole seed. Also, again, for Speed Gaming for restreaming, and Bulligen, always a pleasure, man, to commentate with you.
Likewise, dude.
And I think with that, we are going to sign off for right now. I believe there is Randomizer going on a couple of the other channels.
There's so much Randomizer.
Let's see. We've got...
I'll just pull up my following page. Here we go.
Seems good. We got Speed Gaming 3. I think might still be going on.
Yeah, it looks like LT versus... it looks like that one might be over. Yeah. But we've got on Speed Gaming 4, I see Bad Moon Z versus Argol XD, so you can check that out. Still ongoing. There will certainly be other matches going on as well. But yeah, make sure to follow all of the Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6. Make sure to follow ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 4. And of course, make sure to come on back and keep cheering on our wonderful runners. Please give these two fine folks a follow, and please have a lovely day. Thanks for watching.
Have a good one, guys.